everybody, we're live. Hey, how's everybody doing? First show of 2022. I hope everybody's doing well. Nice to see everybody here. Oh man, it's been a long, crazy week for me. I hope everybody's doing well over there. And nice to see everybody here already. Alan, Randy, Quicksilver, Jack, Alan. Oh man, I missed you guys. Cushman, Quicksilver, Jeff, Mark, John, House of Twang. Wayne is here. Leo. Oh man, nice to see all you guys. Christian, how are you doing, buddy? Bruce. Paul. Oh man. Awesome, awesome. Tonefish, Thanai, Cool Tunes Made Easy, BC Rich, Dan of New Jersey. Nice to see all you guys here. It's a pleasure for me to finally be back. Last week, as you guys know, I missed out. Unfortunately, I was down with the bug, and but I'm feeling much better now. So we can jump right into it and get back into the stuff that we all missed. Hopefully you guys have had a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Enjoyed the time off, hopefully. And maybe, let's be honest, who really didn't bother taking down the decorations yet? Who still has the tree up? I'm behind schedule, guys, so possibly not the only one. Please let me know if the voice is okay, if the sound is okay on the guitar. Today I'm playing around with my Sir. We'll talk about the guitar. We'll talk about other gear soon. But first I wanted to say hello. If you guys are joining the Sunday chat for the first time, I just wanted to say Addicted to Gear is all about gear addiction. We're here because we all have the same disease. And we're all in it for the music. And this is the place you want to be if you want to talk gear. We have a great community here, great bunch of guys that have the same disease. This is the support group, and we meet every Sunday at 10 a.m. to kind of talk each other through, possibly either talk each other down from a purchase or maybe encourage a purchase. We're not responsible, okay? We're not responsible for any kind of shenanigans that go on in your household because of gear you bought between you and your wife or your girlfriend or anything like that. So that is the disclaimer that I wanted to put out there. But welcome to any newcomers, and please spread the word. Today is show number 98. It was technically supposed to be show number 99, but since we missed out last weekend, we're behind one, unfortunately. I wanted to do something pretty special for the 100th show, so it gives me a little bit more time to prepare for that. But I want to give away something to you guys and maybe do a little contest. And I figured it would be cool to give away this NUX MG100 multi-effects unit. Very nifty unit that I've been enjoying quite a bit. And I really like a lot, and it's small, it's compact, but it's got some really nice sounds in here. So I'm thinking about doing a draw for that one for the 100th show, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna go about doing the draw. So maybe if you guys have some ideas for me, maybe you guys could let me know, and we can take it from there. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? First of all, I wanted to say thank you for all the words of encouragement. I appreciate you guys giving me the moral support while I was down last week. Unfortunately, the bug got me, my son, my mom, my dad, and my sister, unfortunately. And you know, one of those things you can't, it's luck of the draw, right? I'm happy that I got through okay. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't that bad. It was mostly like a flu, but I was vaccinated, and so were the rest of the guys except for my son. But I gotta say that for older people, it's not fun. Honestly, if my parents weren't double vaccinated, I don't think they would have managed to stay out of the hospital, to be honest with you. So hopefully you guys are all doing well and none of you have to deal with a bug and it's over and done with. But we'll see what happens with that. That's all I want to say about that. Actually, the other thing I want to say is I'm finally starting to be able to smell. It's nice to be able to smell coffee and food again. It's finally coming back. That was gone completely, and it's really a freaky thing. Because you know, I did the smell test where I sprayed my wrist with perfume and I smelled it, and nothing, man, absolutely nothing. It's weird. It's almost like, you know, you're drinking a glass of Coke, you're expecting to get that sweet flavor, and all you taste is like water. Same thing. It's with the smell. It's like you smell it and nothing, zero. So I'm happy to be able to start smelling again, and I'm actually slowly smelling the coffee again. I'm gonna say it's probably at about 40% right now, so it should get better from here on out. So let's get to the questions, because I know you guys are all itching, and please let me know during the holidays what's been going on in terms of purchases. If you guys have gotten any cool gifts. I know during the holiday season, most people like to do some house cleaning, because typically you get some cool presents, you buy some stuff, and then you want to get rid of some stuff. Let me know if that's been the case for you. And also let me know if you guys have found that the used market is better, worse, or the same in terms of what's out there and pricing and all that kind of stuff. So let's get to some questions, and let me just scroll down really quickly here. And thank you, Alan. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, Randy. Same nice comments from everyone here. Thank you very much. Thanks, Jack. Okay, let me just scroll down to see if there's any gear-related questions here. Quicksilver's vacuuming and he's joining in, which is good to see. Keep the house clean, keep the wife happy. Okay, so Jeff says that he bought a Player's Strat this week, plus my best purchase for ages. Highland Plectrum Company old coins fashioned into picks. Amazing. So that's kind of a la Billy Gibbons, I guess. That must cause a lot of wear and tear on the strings, I gotta say. I've tried that before, I gotta say, Jeff, and it's really a cool feeling. Actually, what have I been using lately? Do I have it here? I think I have it in my pocket. Let me just check here. One sec. One sec. Do I have it? No. I had it yesterday. Oh, there it is. It's right here. So this is kind of what I've been using in lieu of the coins, because the coins are really thick. But this works just as well. I use this guy sometimes. This is a, it's called a tech pick. It's made of metal. It's really thin, but it's got that scratchy. It's a great pick, actually. It's called tech pick. So if any of you want to get a metal pick, the only thing is that it's, I think it leaves a little bit of residue on your fingers. But you can barely hear it, but there's like a definite little grind to it as opposed to a pick. Like this is a big stubby, thick pick here. Oh shit, I dropped it. Okay, here, I'll do this one. The Ernie Ball Prodigy, also a thick pick. And now I'll go back to the metal pick. It's more of an immediate thing. This one's a little bit more mellow, whereas the metal pick is a little bit more... gives you a little bit more high end, I think. But that's pretty cool. I gotta check them out. Old coins fashioned into picks. I wonder how much they're charging for that kind of stuff. You know, that's actually illegal. You're not allowed to. It's a federal offense to damage money. So I wonder if these guys are gonna go to jail. Good morning, Mark. John says it's 2 a.m. here. I shouldn't be up. John, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Even if you can hang in there for a couple of minutes. The show today is going to be about an hour. Okay, guys? I'm not going to go beyond that. We're going to try and keep it to about an hour. I know I've said that many, many times before, but we'll try our best. So you guys getting used to writing 2022 on all your checks yet? Are you still writing 2021? I gotta say, I've gotten used to it. I think overall, I'm happy to get rid of 2021. Let me tell you. Christian says Happy New Year with a lot of new gear for everyone. Hi, Alan. I hope everyone's doing well. Same to you, Christian. I hope you're doing excellent, buddy. And Gospel of Mark agrees with me that COVID sucks, ruined my whole family Christmas. Well, same here, buddy. Christmas and New Year's, and my mom's birthday, which is really the triple sucky whammy, I gotta say. But that's life. We gotta unfortunately deal with it as it happens, right? Paul, you're not late for the roll call. Nice to see you here. Rico says good morning from Chile, Arizona. I'm crying tears, Rico. I feel bad for you, buddy. Anytime you want to change place, just let me know. Mark says it's raining, freezing rain in Maryland. Get well, greetings, Tony. Thank you, Dan. Okay, let's get down to it. Okay, I'm scrolling all the way down. I'm catching up. Joey says, nice, sir. Very, very nice. Glad to see you're feeling better. Thank you, Joey. Yeah, this is a sir that I've had for years. I'm only playing it now. I actually modded the pickups on this. I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. Great guitar. Super nice guitar. I love it. John said he didn't bother putting the lights in the first place. Mark says his decor is still all up. And Rico says his Christmas decoration is coming down. Bulk pickup is this week. Okay, so everything's going out. And Tonefish says took it down yesterday. So you guys are all ahead of me. Gospel of Mark says I haven't gotten any new gear yet. Still enjoying my G&L Comanche. I got a few weeks ago. I saw the photo of that, Mark. As I commented, I think the Comanche is super nice. Those pickups are crazy, and feel free to play around with the height adjustments on those pickups. For those of you who don't know, the G&L Comanche, and there's a couple of other models that have adjustable pole pieces on their pickups. They have little hex screws built into them that you can actually just put a little hex key in there, and you can adjust the height of the pickup poles individually. It makes a huge difference in the sound. A lot of people don't know that or don't experiment with that, but it's a cool feature that they came out with over at G&L. Alex says, hey Tony, love this show. Do you know how much the new Silver Sky SE will cost? Well, Alex, it's anybody's guess right now. I did a show. My last post was about the Silver Sky SE. Maybe some of you have seen it. There's a lot of hype going on about that guitar right now, and a lot of excitement. A lot of people, it's a polarizing model. Either you love it or you hate it. It's kind of one of those things. If you're a big PRS fan, probably you'll like it. If you're not, you'll probably hate it even more than the core lines that they've already come out with, because it kind of, it takes a lot of things from a Stratocaster. So a lot of people that are Stratocaster fans feel a little bit like it's a blatant copy. So there's a lot of questions about that particular new model that's coming out. It's supposed to be coming out on the 12th, I think. So in a couple of days, everybody's holding their breath for that. And as far as the price goes, man, my dog's really snoring back there. As far as the price goes, I'm hoping it's going to be sub $1,000. It might hopefully be about, $849, something there, US dollars. That would make sense, because then it would directly compete with a lot of Fender's Mexican models. And because this is an import model as well, it would make sense. I think at that price point, it would sell like hotcakes. honestly, guys, I have reservations about spending $3,000. That's what the Silver Sky typically would cost here in Canada. I would have reservations for spending $3,000 on any guitar. Never mind something that is very similar to a Strat. I have played the Silver Sky, and for me, honestly, beyond the body, the neck doesn't feel like a Strat to me. It actually does feel like a PRS neck, which for me is a good thing, because if I want a Strat, I'll buy a Strat, and it'll cost me less money. I can also buy used and get a really good model for a lot less money. So for that reason, I wouldn't be interested in a blatant copy, but if it's different and offers a little bit more or something else, that's something that might catch my attention. I love the SE models on PRS. I have a few, love them, great quality. Obviously, the Achilles heel for a lot of PRS stuff is the pickups. And for me, it's a moot point, because I normally will swap out the pickups on most of my guitars anyways. I definitely feel that the PRS pickups are not, let's say, for the amount of money that you're paying on the guitars, they could do better. But with a swap, they're awesome guitars. The quality is great. I haven't come across any of the SE models that I didn't like, except one, which was an early Tremonti version that I had, that I bought. This was the original, like the first runs of that guitar. And I felt the guitar was a little heavy and kind of sounded a little dead, like it didn't resonate well. But again, that was one of the first models that they came out with. I think perhaps right now the models that they have are going to be better. So Mark says that the Silver Sky will be $849. I don't know if that's official or not yet, Mark, but that's my best guess as well. I don't like the model. I don't like the colors on the Silver Sky. I gotta say, the colors are not, they're not talking to me. I know they want to come out with some off-the-wall colors, but I think I would probably, if I would pick up a Silver Sky SE, which I probably would eventually do, I'll probably wait for the second run. Because I have a feeling that, first run, you're not getting a maple neck. Not that I would want a maple neck anyway, but that's one of the things that you're not going to get. You're not going to get a lefty, unfortunately. So if you're left-handed, you're going to have to wait. And the colors, I mean, there's 3 or 4 colors that are being released right now. And honestly, none of them entice me to buy one. So I would definitely want to wait for the second run. And probably, if at $849, they're released at $849, it means when you buy them used, you can probably get them for about $600, which is probably what I'm going to do. I love to try one, though, just to see the difference. I think that the big advantage with the SE is that they don't have to worry about trying to like match fancy grain in the woods. Like, you're not going to get, stuff like this in those guitars. Everything's painted, so they can, use poplar. They can paint over the bodies, not a big deal. So the costs will definitely be lower. It's going to be manufactured overseas. So right there, they're going to save a bundle of money. I do think that the Silver Sky is overpriced. So, relatively speaking, they're going to have an easy job keeping the prices a lot less. And for those of you who purchased a Silver Sky just recently, I feel sorry for you, because, maybe you would have been happy with an SE version and saved yourself a ton of money. But that's neither here nor there. Hindsight is 2020. We'll see how many Silver Sky core models are going to pop up on the used market now. Tonefish says, I finally bought a Firefly 338. Moment of Weakness and the new Maple Stripe series. I have to say, other than it needed a setup, it plays and feels pretty damn good. Awesome. Yeah, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people reviewing those 338s. I guess that, it'll scratch an itch for a lot less money than something more expensive. And Quicksilver says, I was thinking of picking up one of those Jet guitars that other channels seem to be clamoring about, but a few months ago, I picked up a classic Vibe Strat and Telecaster, so meh, I'll pass on those Jet guitars. Quicksilver, I think you made the right decision. Honestly, the Classic Vibe series is great, and I think it actually will keep its value a little bit better than some of these import guitars that are a flash in the pan, so to speak. So Bruce says $849 USD for the price on the Silver Sky. And Gospel Alan says the Silver Sky specs are out. Very strange neck radius 8.5. Alan, I don't know if it's that strange. I mean, you know, it's in between the 7.25 and the 9. So you're going to get a little bit of that vintage vibe, but it's not going to be as round as a 7.5, which I think would be a little bit too much. Are you really going to feel that much of a difference? I think you will definitely feel a difference, but it probably won't get in the way. You know what I mean? Cool Tunes Matey says, same here, 6 of us in the family. Dude, I feel bad for you guys. I know what it's like. Not fun at all. It's amazing, Cool Tunes, that, you know, from one infected person, it knocked out, in my family, knocked out 2 people. Actually, 3 people. Sorry. It was me, my daughter, and my son. In my parents' family, my mom and my dad, and my sister. So that's 7 people, plus the original person, plus a bunch of people in their family, and so on and so forth. So you can easily see how fast this thing is spreading. It's really crazy. And it's hard to keep people isolated when you're in a household. We're 5 people here. So thankfully my wife didn't get it. My other daughter didn't get it. Yeah, it's not an easy thing. So what pickups did you switch for the stock, sir? So Joey, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, these are Gatekeeper pickups. Gatekeeper pickups are very inexpensive pickups that you would probably not expect to see in an expensive guitar like this. These are made from Porter pickups. I wanted to try them because they're really inexpensive. They're like under $100 a set. Gatekeeper pickups, they make them for humbuckers, Strat, and I think they also have a model for Telecaster. They sound great, honestly. The only issue I've been having with this guitar is when I actually did the wiring, I changed the switch for a 3-way, and the switch is not great, so I have to possibly upgrade the switch. It cost me a lot of money, this switch. It cost me like $18, and I'm not happy with it. So in certain positions, it kind of doesn't make a good connection, so I have to change that out. But as far as the pickups go, this guitar originally came with the humbucker in the bridge, 2 single coils. So I changed out the entire pick guard. I got one from Sir, cost me a ton of money, but I switched it over to humbuckers, and I think this is it, guys. The humbucker configuration is definitely what this guitar was meant to be. I just don't get along well with single humbuckers. I don't know why. So I'm not saying these pickups are going to stay in here indefinitely, but for right now, for the amount of money I paid them, I'm quite happy with these. And I think it's a great match for this guitar, and I'm having a lot of fun playing it. So if any of you guys are looking for inexpensive pickups that are not going to break the bank, check out the Gatekeeper at porterpickups.com. And maybe you'll like them as much as I do. Quicksilver says, I'm going for the booster shot on Tuesday. So I technically don't have to get my booster now because I'm technically they say that you should be protected for at least 6 months after you get it. So I guess I'm saved from having to get another shot. Sir has new pickups. These are not Sir pickups, Cushman. The Gospel of Mark says, yeah, I read that about the radius. Radius usually don't bother me. The 7.25 on the OG Silver Sky was fine for me. I have a few Strats that have the vintage radius, and I'm fine with that. I only really notice it when I'm bending. If you're bending high up on the neck here, you know, sometimes they could fret out depending on how much you're bending. But other than that, not a big deal for me. Paul says, I turned 75. Happy birthday, Paul. Another year on the green side of the grass. Awesome, buddy. Glad to hear it. I hope you celebrated it well. Alan says he prefers at least a 12-inch radius with a slim neck. I think a compound radius is, for me, the most comfortable, because then you have the best of both worlds. 12 inches. I have a couple of really flat radiuses on some guitars, and I have to admit I do like them. And Rico says, I bought a used 2020 Kramer Beretta, plays great. One JB humbucker push-pull, sounds and plays great. I'm glad you brought that up, Rico. I've been playing this guitar for a while. Let me just, hold on a second. Let me just bypass here. I've been playing this guitar. You probably have seen it in some of my other videos. This guy, you guys remember this? This is the Kramer Beretta Special that I did up with this crazy these crazy decals that allows me to go back into the 80s pretty easily with these the zebra stripes front and back. I don't know, I wasn't crazy about the salmon-y kind of color on this guitar, so I said, what the hell, I might as well just go back and change it all up. I think it needs a little bit of a little tuning here. But you know, since you brought up the Berettas, I still think these guitars are great value for the money. I mean, you can get them for like, what, $200? Maybe even less on the used market, if you get lucky. I picked up two. I picked up this one and the original black one. This one has a really nice flat neck. It's thin. Very thin, well, not very thin, but a lot thinner than some of my other guitars. And as you said, one volume control, one humbucker, and a so-so bridge. On my other one, I actually upgraded the bridge. I put a Vega trim in it. What I'm thinking of doing is I have a black Vega trim. I'm thinking of making the black Beretta and making it into a stealth model. So all the hardware, the bridge and the tuners, I'll change to the black. And this one, I'll put the other Vega trim in here. And I haven't decided whether or not what I'm gonna do with the paint here. I'm probably not gonna keep this decal on it, even though it's pretty cool. Eventually, I'll probably paint this guitar. And since the other one has a rosewood neck and this one has a maple neck, they're not exactly the same. But I love the guitar. The pickup on this guitar is the stock pickup, Zebra. And it's okay. I'm probably going to upgrade the pickup on this guitar. Actually, you know what? I'm going to probably talk about a lot of mods today because there's a lot of stuff that I want to do on my guitars. I'm probably going to put in this pickup here in this guitar. This is a pickup that Christian, one of our viewers here, put me onto. This is a no wax pickup. It's called No Wax. This is a hot path, and it's for the bridge. So I'm probably going to put this pickup in this guitar. I'm probably going to take off the cover though. I think depending on what color the bobbins are on this, hopefully they're black. If they're zebra, even better. But I'm gonna try putting it into this guitar. I think it's gonna be a great match. On the black one, I put in a Jeff Beck, and it sounds great. You can't go wrong. I don't have a push-pull on that. It's just a straight volume. But honestly, upgrading the bridge and the pickup on these guitars, you have a killer guitar for like peanuts. You can't even buy a body. Let's face it, you can't buy a body and a neck for under $200. Here you're getting a body, a neck, everything for like $200. House of Twang says it seems to be a buyer's market. I've had the gear listed for sale and it's been slow. You know what? I noticed that too before the holidays. I actually had my eye on a Princeton at one point, a Princeton with tweed cover, and it was listed at about $1,200, and it stayed there for quite a few weeks. So usually people would kind of snag them up a little quicker than that, but lately, I don't know. It does seem slow. I think a lot of people are maybe tapped out after the holidays. Quicksilver says, speaking of uploading or unloading stuff, anyone in the EU proper want to pick up a NUX MG30? Let me know. So Quicksilver's getting rid of the MG30. I just got the MG30 Quicksilver. I'm playing around with it. I like it a lot. I don't know why you want to unload it. It's a great little unit. I'm going to be doing some videos on that unit very soon. Cushman says, got a classic vibe Telecaster Deluxe in white. Telecasters are awesome, man. Congratulations on the new guitar acquisition, Cushman. I think you're going to like it. Those classic vibes are great. I had one in the butterscotch version, and I kept it for many years. I loved it. Worked really, really well for me. And Fat Philosopher says, same, a thin neck at 16-inch radius. That's, I guess, what he's going for. John says, I bought a double pedal graphic EQ and overdrive combined will be in the mail tomorrow. Those double pedals are great because they take up a lot less space on your board. The only thing is if you like one side over the other, then it's not as much of a compromise, because then you're kind of taking space on your board with a pedal that is, I guess, half of the pedal that you're probably not going to want to use. I try not to get combo deals as much as I can, because I've rarely come across a pedal that I like that had both, both sides of whatever the combo is to my liking. So, I like to kind of focus directly on a particular pedal and go with that. BC Rich says used bass prices in the under 1,300 range are beginning to subside overall. And Wayne says, took 2 to the pawn yesterday to sell. So what did you sell, Wayne? What did you get rid of? And Cool Tunes Made Easy says, I have a tickle for an amp. Too, as looking at the Fender Reverb. Maybe now I've been eyeing the Blackstar HT200R Mark II. They seem to have good cleans. Anyone have input? The HTRs definitely are nice flexible amps. I think that they are a little bit more on the bitey side in terms of gain and all that. If you're looking for something that has good cleans, perhaps you want to look at the Blackstar Artist series, which they have different wattage ratings, and they have a couple of different versions of their amps that are a little bit more on the clean side, but they're very simple amps, but you can definitely make them sound great with pedals and whatnot. So I would look at those, the Artist series. Jack says, Tony, I finally put them single Duncan hot rod pickups in the Jackson Dinky guitar. And how do they sound, Jack? Mark also prefers the flatter radius pickups as well. If for you guys that have not seen the poll, I had put in a poll yesterday. So you guys might want to take a look at that and just answer it. The poll was basically about whether or not, like for those of you that are playing around with analog and digital effects and all that kind of stuff, are you spending most of your time trying to get a sound that emulates your Guitar Hero? Or are you playing around with the equipment basically to try and invent new sounds for yourself? I know for me, I usually spend my time trying to get a specific sound for a specific song, to mimic that song or to mimic the tone. Like I'll take, for example, a Led Zeppelin song, and I'll try and listen to the guitar or get an isolated track and then use my multi-effects to try and dial in that particular sound. So I have, let's say, a Jimmy Page sound, a Joe Walsh sound, a Billy Gibbons sound, which in actual fact, they're all kind of very similar. A little tweaking here and there will get you from one to the other. There's not a whole bunch of difference. But, you know, say you want to get an edge sound on one of his songs with the delay and all that. It's quite challenging, especially if your multi-effects unit is limited or if you have limited access to pedals. But I spend my time mostly doing that. I don't really spend too much time trying to invent my own sounds because the sounds that I like are the sounds of my guitar heroes mostly. Christian says, I still waiting on my Telecaster Apollo made by my guitar luthier. When everything is doing well, I will get it this week. When everything so I saw the photos, Christian, and it looks great, man. It looks like it's coming along really nicely. The paint job looks great. Nice selection of humbuckers and whatnot. So I think it's going to be a killer guitar once you get it. I'm looking forward to possibly hearing something. Maybe you want to put something on YouTube and let us hear what it all sounds like. I'd be curious to hear that. Hey Landon, how you doing, buddy? Thanks, man. I am feeling better. Slowly, one day at a time. I gotta say, even though it's been well over 10 days now, I'm still tired, man. You know, I tried to do a few things around the house the other day and I felt it. You know, I felt that I wasn't 100% yet. So it does take time. The nose is still a little stuffy and whatnot, but you gotta be tough. Alan says thicker picks are better. That's what she says. Leo says, addicted to gear, yes, definitely more grind with the thin metal picks. Yeah, I agree, buddy. But it's it does wear out your strings, man. So be careful. You'll see that you're gonna get some scratching and stuff happening. So you'll have to probably change out your strings a lot more often. Fat Philosopher says, I used to use 1.2 millimeter picks. Yeah, I use, this is a 2 millimeter. This is, doesn't say, this one doesn't say. I know my big stubby is quite fat as well. That's what she says. But yeah, the Jim Dunlap is 3 millimeters. This is the big stubby I was talking about, 3 millimeters. So yeah, definitely it's something you got to get used to. I mean, a lot of people don't like the fat ones because they take a lot more room between the strings, so you have to be a lot more precise with the picking. But I like them. Quicksilver says, "Who writes checks?" Haven't written a check in years. I write checks once in a while. Snow removal mostly. Jack says, "For what kind of music? Listen to Cushman and what I play, it sounds wonderful." Okay. Haven't written a check in 6 months. Still trying to figure out where 1992 went, says John. Randy says, I purchased the Joyo GE01 TC's Ebo. I'm like a monkey with a Coke bottle. No clue. You kind of you gotta focus, Randy. That's the thing. You gotta focus. I picked up a little inexpensive pedal as well over the holidays. I might as well share it with you. This is from Tone City. It's called Rock Machine. I don't know if you guys have seen these. Rock Machine. Rock Magma. Rock Machine. Still in the days, I think. These little pedals are from Tone City. They're supposed to emulate the OCD pedal. I think they do a pretty respectable job of doing that. Not that expensive. I just grabbed it because I hadn't tried it. I've been playing around with it. Sounds pretty good. I don't know why I always gravitate to overdrive pedals. I mean, most of the pedals I end up buying end up being overdrives. How many overdrives do you actually need? Honestly. You know, I'm always trying to A/B and compare and decide which one to go with. You know, I have a ton of overdrives. The Plimsoll right here, that's another awesome one. I have, like, this is just what's lying on my table here. I got this one. This is the Demon Effects Tube Screamer, where you have the vintage TS 808 circuit and the TS 9 circuit on the switch. Works pretty well. What else do I have here on my desk? I got this guy, which is the clone of the King of Tone from 68 Pedals. There's other companies now making these, probably the same ones. There's probably from the same source. Anyways, a whole bunch of drive pedals. They're not all the same. I gotta say, they're all slightly different. They all work better or worse in live situations. For live, I usually go with my Mojo Hand Rook Effects pedal, because it just it makes the guitar sound come through quite nicely. Hey Gary, how's it going, buddy? Mark EFX says, I pre-ordered the TC Electronics stereo chorus and flanger. That's gonna be nice. I bought a Univibe recently. I think it's here. Oh shit, just the box. That's over there. I can't reach it right now. But I bought a Univibe, an MXR Univibe. I've always wanted to play around with the Univibe sound, you know? It's a cool pedal, limited unless you're playing, you know, Jimi Hendrix stuff, but it's a cool effect. I'm probably going to end up selling it eventually. It's just to scratch the itch and just to play around with it a little bit, but I don't play enough songs that require a Univibe, you know. You can get it to sound like a chorus, but I already have a chorus anyways. Mark says, my son loves his PRS SC Mira. I bought him for Christmas. He rocks it through a Boss Katana. Lucky kid, man. You're a great dad, Mark. You're gonna encourage that kid. He's gonna be stealing your chops in no time, buddy. Hey Cohen, nice to see you, buddy. I think Quicksilver says, I think the Silver Sky SE will cost a tad less than the Custom 24 SE. It has to, probably $100 less or so, ideally $200 less. Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to find out in a couple of days. I guarantee you one thing, guys. YouTube is going to be flooded with influencers demoing the Silver Sky. I mean, everybody's already got one in their hands. They're just waiting. I know that PRS shipped out a whole bunch of these things, and they're just waiting in the wings now for the 12th to come about, and then they're going to say, okay, after the 12th, you're allowed to go ahead and demo it. So I'm curious to see what they're going to, how many people are going to say they love it, how many people are going to say they don't, and should be interesting. I'm going to wait to get mine, man. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to go in with all the hype. I'm just going to, you know, wait for it and see what happens. And when I eventually do get one, it's going to be my unbiased review. It's not going to be a paid review, obviously. Cohen says, my new gear, Mini Crybaby, the CBM95, Harley Benton Power Plant 10 AC Pro, and a Strymon Flint. Nice. The Flint is awesome. The Mini Crybaby is a must for any current pedal board. I mean, the big wah pedals are just too huge. And as far as the power plant goes, I haven't tried it. I'm just wondering how that would work out for you. Landon also says someone reported $850 USD for the Silver Sky. Yeah, I heard about that, Landon. Let's wait and see, buddy. I hope it's not just going to be an introductory price and then they're going to jack it up, because I know the prices overall on guitars have gone up quite a bit, including the PRS stuff. FXteen, hello from SoCal. Nice to see you, buddy. Cohen, best wishes for the new year. Thank you. I think it is around the same price as the Fender Player Series Strat Quicksilver. That's the whole strategy, man, is to, you know, cannibalize the sales from Fender. And if Fender keeps raising the prices on everything, they're gonna find themselves in hot water. Because, yeah, there's other guitars out there, man. Right now, Cohen says he's busy building his first acoustic, doing the bracings today. Gotta have a lot of patience to build an acoustic guitar. I'd love to build one. I just don't know how. And I don't know if I'd be willing to spend like 2,000 hours building a guitar and only to have it not work out for me. I don't think I'm at that level yet. I'm okay with working on regular guitars, but not acoustic yet. And speaking of working on a regular guitars, I gotta say the winter temperatures have been wreaking havoc with a lot of my guitars. I have noticed that a lot of them do need a little neck adjustment and whatnot, string heights and so on. Like this one, I find the strings on this one is a little bit high. A couple of things I gotta do on some of the guitars. This is just regular wear and tear that I normally have to deal with on my guitars, but I like doing that kind of stuff. And I mentioned at the top of the show, right now I have a ton of projects that I gotta work on. Lots of projects on my guitar. So like I mentioned, I put the Gatekeeper pickups in my Sir here. I gotta change the switch on it. I have my Frankenstrat build with the Pariah pickups in it that I love, and I've been rocking that guitar quite a bit. I got to do a video of that awesome Pariah pickup set that's in there, the Frankenstrat set. Sounds great. I got the Kramer stuff I was telling you about, so the bridge, the upgrade of the bridge on this one with the Vega Trem and the pickups. I have some other pickups that I wanted to put into another guitar. As I mentioned, the no wax pickups. I have another set coming, and that set is going to go into my PRS core model 245. They should be arriving any day now. I want to try and do that one. And I'm also thinking about changing. I have my Harley Benton Junior style guitar with P90s in it. And I wanted to upgrade those P90 pickups, possibly with a set from Peg City. And also at the same time to change, I probably would change the tuners. They have the plastic tuners like the Junior. I'm not crazy about those tuners, so I might put in a set of tuners that are chromed. And I was thinking about maybe possibly painting that guitar eventually. I don't usually do paint jobs in the wintertime because it's I like to work in either my shed or my garage, and it's just too cold right now, so it wouldn't be a good time. I'm also putting together a Strat, and I'm not finished working on the neck. It needs a few more coats of lacquer and some buffing and polishing, but I have a beautiful body and a beautiful neck that's going to be going onto that guitar. And on that guitar, I also have a set of Peg City pickups, Strat style pickups that I wanted to try out and review. I also put in a Gun Street wiring harness in there for the pickups, and that's something else I wanted to show you guys and share with you guys. I have so many things going on right now, and it's just hard to do that all at once, but these are the projects that I'm going to be working on over the winter time. So I don't know if you guys kind of squirrel away projects like I do for the winter to keep you going, but that's what I like to do over the winter. And it actually also makes me save money, because instead of going crazy with gear, I kind of focus on the actual guitars and stuff, and try and get them in tip-top condition for for the springtime. What I like to do, I don't know if you guys do this or not, but what I like to do is whenever I play a guitar, I always evaluate it while I'm playing, and I usually put a little note on a Post-it or something, or a little string sleeve, and I'll just slip it under the strings and put it in the case. So next time, I'm looking for something that I need to adjust or do some work on, I already know and I remember what that guitar required. Either it's an intonation or, pickup height adjustment or change the strings or whatever. It saves me a lot of time that way. Quicksilver wants to know, how much is a custom 24 SE in the US? Good question. I don't know what the US prices on those are. I would still think they would be under $1,000. Paul says, I just got my Mosky Brown, a part for part Wampler Pinnacle clone. Does very good EVH thing. Ordered the big knob color jumbo. Near imperceivable sonic copy of the 74 Color Sound Jumbo Tone Bender. Do you have the originals, Paul? Like, do you have the original Pinnacle? And do you have the original Tone Bender? Because you're saying they're nearly identical. I'm just wondering, like, how do you determine that? The Pinnacle from Wampler used to be my go-to pedal for a long time until I built my Brown Sound in a Box 2 from General Guitar Gadgets. I put that one together myself, and I feel that pedal sounds better, sounds more real or amp-like than the Pinnacle does. So I haven't been using my Pinnacle for a long time. I usually use that one. Thanks for sharing those comments, though. It's good to know, man. I should check out the Color Sound, the big knob. I'm not a huge fan of fuzz pedals, but a good tone bender, I think. Everybody should have a good tone bender in their collection. Mike says, I think I need a new Telecaster. Any suggestions under, say, $800 used? I could just put some new pickups in my G&L Telecaster, I guess. Mike, my comment, my preference, I love the road worn stuff. I have a really nice road worn I can't even say that 5 times fast. A red road worn Telecaster that originally came with a humbucker in the neck position, which I removed and put regular Telecaster pickups in, and it's a great playing and a great sounding Telecaster overall. I don't know if you're still going to be able to get them under 800 on the used market, possibly if you get lucky. Anything that I can find for a road worn under $800, I would snag up. D-Mark says, I played a GHS Pack Rat pedal yesterday. Liked it better than the Bonsai, which I like. I found the settings on the Pack Rat very diverse, bit pricey, and would like to compare with the regular Rat pedal. I noticed that there's a couple of companies now that are coming out with these Rat clones, as well as these companies from China. A lot of them are cloning these Rat pedals. I used to have a Rat a long time ago. I don't have it anymore. It definitely has a very unique sound to it. I felt that for me, the Rat pedal wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be. It was a little bit edgy. But it definitely has that vintage sound, if you want to get that vintage Rat sound. Fat Philosopher says, I'm burnt out over all the Silver Sky talk. Enough already. Fat Philosopher, man, it's just starting. If you're burnt out now, wait, buddy, because January is going to be all about that. I'm telling you. House of Twang, PRS necks. Silver Sky neck was way too thick for me, says Rico. And Rico says, Fat, I'm with you. Gospel of Mark says, my US Silver Sky was great. Did have a pretty big neck, but it was the best Strat I ever played. There you go. A Freudian slip there, Mark, right? I'm sure you paid quite a bit too. Oh, man. Alan says, Fat Philosopher, I am the same. It will get worse from Tuesday. Absolutely will get worse. Get ready, buddies. Get ready for PRS Silver Sky overload. Enrico says, Gospel was great. Did you sell it? Yeah, did you sell it? Jeff says, I swapped out the pickups on my SE to Iron Gear Blues engines. I got more than my money back selling the PRS pickups on eBay. Yeah, that's the thing about, that's actually the odd thing about PRS pickups is that they're not that great, but people still want them. I'm going to probably just take mine and put them in a Ziploc bag in case I ever want to sell my core 245, which I don't think I will. I love that guitar. It's just one of those things. Like it's the same as my Sir. I was, it's a great guitar, but I was just not bonding with it because of the pickups. And I know a lot of people love the Sir pickups. It's just the configuration of the single humbucker is just not for me. But other than that, I mean, it's a great guitar, and so is the PRS, the core line that I have. I don't think I'd ever get rid of that one. I'm just trying to get the right pickups in it. BC Rich says, so I'm hearing the price on the import Silver Sky is between $850 and $925, but that's just speculation. Again, we'll find out soon. The Flyron says, have you made a review of any of the Harley Benton 550 models? The 550 models, which one in particular are you talking about? Just so I know. Let me just take a look here. I know there's a few. There's the Plus, there's the only model that I have that I did a review on that was similar to the 550 is the gold top that I did a review on. So it's a little different. It doesn't have regular humbuckers on it, but it's a great guitar. And as far as gold tops go, I think it's great bang for the buck if you're looking for that one. And I know a lot of the other 550 models are good too. I haven't reviewed one specifically that was not a guitar with P90s in it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be very close to what I had in terms of the build quality on the gold top that I got. And as far as I'm concerned, you can't go wrong at that price point, man. Honestly, even if you have to upgrade the pickups, you're still ahead of the game. Quick Silver says, if I wanted a Strat for $850 US, I'd just as soon get a proper Fender Player Series Strat, and if I wanted a PRS neck, I'd get the Custom 24. The thing is, you see, I'm not a big fan of the Custom 24s. I owned one, and Custom 22, Custom 24, they definitely feel a lot different than my 245 because it's a different scale length. So out of all the PRS guitars that I've tried that were not the 245 scale length, I didn't really like. Now I'm thinking the Silver Sky might be different because it is more of a Strat flavored type guitar. So I'll possibly try that one again, but I don't see myself owning a Custom 24. I'm not a big fan of the longer necks. And Mike says it's actually what I've been looking at. I have a no-caster bridge pickup that I thought about throwing in just to see if it made the guitar any better. I'm just not in love with the G&L. Okay, I see what you mean. I don't know, man. I love G&Ls. I had a G&L, a proper G&L USA model when they first came out back in the 90s. It was a fantastic guitar, and I regret selling that guitar every day. The thing with the G&Ls, I think it really comes down to the neck. If you like the neck or not. Because the rest of the guitar is well made. Solid guitar overall. That guitar was a beautiful, beautiful... it was a sunburst guitar, but it was more like an orange burst. I don't know if I have pictures of that. I must have pictures of that somewhere. I should maybe try and find post. I regret selling that guitar. I should have kept it, man. Cool Tune says, I don't like the name Silver Sky. Sounds like one of those beginner packages. Rico B says, Tony, you're a great painter. Just saying. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I try my best. Dan of New Jersey says, it just baffles me why PRS is so weak on their electronics, whether it's their amps or pickups. You'd think they'd hire Tim Shaw or another expert to fix the problem. I know. It's weird to me. But, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the PRS amps either. So I guess, they're kind of like Volkswagen. They make decent guitars, but the electronics suck. I don't know, maybe eventually they'll hire somebody, but they should definitely. There's so many boutique winders out there that make really great pickups. I guess they just want to have things made in house or overseas or whatever, just to keep costs down and work it that way. I don't know. Quicksilver says, can't wait for the inevitable obnoxious roll call of YouTube video releases on Tuesday. You know, I agree with you, man. I feel that, you know, when there's an avalanche of influencers that are all, you know, paid to give their review on a guitar, it's unfortunate because it's almost like the Amazon effect. You know, you try and read the reviews on Amazon to make it a well-informed buying decision, and a lot of those reviews are just purchased because they give the reviewers a free product or whatever. So, you know, how can you really say that you're getting the real story, you know? I like to be as honest as I can on my reviews, and if I can just buy the guitar either used or whatnot, or somebody can lend it to me or whatever, you know, I'll do my unbiased review on it, and you know, if somebody's just being bought out, it's kind of a drag. I know a lot of the influencers they try and stay neutral. They don't necessarily say they love them or not. You know, especially when it's a paid thing. If they don't like it, they'll kind of not mention it, kind of like gloss it over, and leave it up to you. But, you know, I like to have someone tell me their real opinion. Like, do I like it? Am I keeping this guitar? Is it better than XYZ guitar? You know, how do I feel about it? You know, comparatively speaking, I want to go into a store knowing that I'm not going to be blowing my money on something that I'm going to regret, you know. Anyways, we'll see what happens. But Alan says, let's hope PRS go extinct. Coffee tables with poor pickups. Alan, tell us how you really feel, buddy. Dan of New Jersey says, PRS, they don't make lefty pianos. House of Twang, Quicksilver, LOL, a million videos on the same guitar. Yeah, probably. Quicksilver says, fancy, expensive super strats that Harley Benton can knock out for a quarter of what Ibanez charges. That's true, man. Ibanez guitars are getting, I guess they're trying to get them elevated into the same price point as the Friedman guitars, the Sir guitars, and a bunch of other guitars that are way overpriced, in my opinion, for regular Strat style guitars. I just would love to see them come out with something that is reasonably priced, you know. Again, I'm not going to be spending $2,500 or $3,000 on a guitar. I just won't do it. There's too much choice out there. And if you're handy with setting up your guitar, you can make an average guitar play stellar. And I say it over and over again. Alan says, 12-inch minimum radius for me. I don't buy any guitars with small radius thin necks. And Quicksilver says, every time I hear Porter, I think of porterhouse steaks. That's true. I can use a great steak right now if I could only taste it. And Gary also agrees. He says no thin necks. And Leo says, well, I never owned one, but I did play a friend's once. Had a very woody resonant tone. Quicksilver says, not entirely true. And he's answering Fat Philosopher on this one. They have been making core lefties for decades now. I believe I saw a few in the 90s, including the precursor to the Silver Sky, the EG something. And Fat Philosopher says, I think there were more left-handed guitarists in the 50s than there are now. Left-handed guitar players are on the way out. Paul Reed Smith, April 2008. What does he know? Come on. My son's a lefty. Hey, man, you can always flip the guitar over like Jimi Hendrix used to do and rock the mojo. That'll work. BC Rich says several of the lower end lines of PRS are offered for lefties, less available in the higher end PRS models. And Presley, California Customs is wishing Paul a happy birthday. Quicksilver says, I do sort of agree with Paul Reed Smith, though lefties are indeed a fickle bunch. Exactly the term he used. I don't think you could correlate being a lefty to being fickle. Come on, guys. I don't know. What's with all the left-handed player hate here? Landon says, have you played any GNL models? Happy Sunday. Yes, absolutely. Landon, I owned a US-made PRS Strat, which I purchased back in, I think it was 92, when they started making them. Great guitar. Had a maple neck on it. Loved it. Loved it for many, many years. Babied it. And unfortunately, in a moment of like fickleness, speaking of being fickle, and I'm not even left-handed, I sold that guitar, and I shouldn't have sold it. I bought that guitar brand new. I don't know why I sold it, honestly. I don't even know what I ended up buying with the money that I used. I don't even remember, but I ended up selling it. I also had a pretty nice Telecaster, which I purchased, and I think I did a review on. You can see that on my channel as well. It had humbuckers on it. Played really nice. It had split coils, humbuckers. Loved it. Had a maple back neck with rosewood board. I ended up selling that one too. I don't know why. So, but I don't know. I find that the GNLs definitely play great. It's just, I don't know why I end up selling them all the time. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. Joey Don't Know says, my PRS Mark Holcomb has 20-inch radius and is so comfortable. 20-inch radius? How could that even be? 20 inches? Wow. Talk about flat. Quicksilver says, I have their Tribute series, which is basically a cheaper Silver Sky made by the same guys. And Toman sometimes pops up a USA GNL from time to time. I'd like to pick one up. Yeah, you can still pick up one of the early ones, but mine was really early, and I noticed that the later models, they even changed the logos, the decals. The guy that I sold it to was kind of he was kind of nervous buying it off of me, because he's like, the decal doesn't look like the decals that they have now. And I'm like, yeah, because this is, the first line that they released when they were making them. They're still making them by hand. They still had the birthmark, what they call birthmark drill holes that they use to put the bodies on the machines and stuff when they're actually shaping them. They had those, they were still pretty much entirely handmade at that point. Rico says, mine is the same ruby red, has shades of salmon and pink and red. Are you talking about this one here? Are you talking about this guitar, Rico? Mark says, the GNLs are great. The US stuff is comparable to Fender Custom Shop, and their import stuff is amazing and usually come with their US pickups. Yeah, the pickups on that guitar, that was one of the few guitars I didn't change the pickups on, was the GNL. The pickups sounded great on it. And Jeff says, Kramer are doing a one pickup hardtail. It's at 159 in the UK. I don't know about hardtails. Maybe. I like to have the bar, the whammy bar. The great thing about this particular body carve is that the Vega trem fits right into the hole, whereas some other guitars that I've tried didn't exactly fit. This one does, so it's an easy swap. Do I still have the Harley Benton Fusion 2? Yeah, I do. It's right there. It's right behind me. It's the third one from the corner. 1, 2, 3. That one there. I did change the pickups on it, but I still have it. Yeah, it's a great guitar. Also, the GNL tributes are one step ahead of the PRS SE because they at least include their USA pickups and hardware. No S pickup BS. That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, if you're paying $800, you're paying almost $1,000 for a guitar. You should at least get some decent pickups in it. Quicksilver says, the Gospel of Mark. Yep, now that I think about it, instead of the Silver Sky, just get a G&L Tribute S500 and you come out on top. Definitely a contender, I think. If Leo had not sold Fender, we would have better Fenders. The G&Ls are a more modern alternative. The cool thing that I like about the G&Ls, more of the recent model G&Ls, is the bridge. Because the bridge is a really solid block bridge. Like the one I had in my Telecaster. The Strat is not the same. But the one I had in my Telecaster had a big fat block bridge. And I don't know if you guys know this, but there's pins going into the body on those bridges. So they really resonate really well with the rest of the body. And that's just another little modification that they made to their bridges to actually make them sound better. And Mark says, I used to own a US ASAT G&L's T-style. It was a killer. The neck was way too big. That's kind of the one I had. But it wasn't a US model. It was an import model. I loved it. But there is something about the G&L necks that make them feel a little bit longer than they are. And that's, I think, what people don't like about those. Rico says, I was torn between the 84 and the Beretta Vintage. Didn't love the banana headstock on the 84. Yeah, I hear you, buddy. Yeah, and the other thing about these headstocks, the Beretta, these special Beretta Specials, the headstocks are not as long as the originals were. They're actually quite small, short. The original Beretta headstocks were a lot longer. I don't know if I have my... Here, I'll show you what I mean. One sec, okay, guys? Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. I'm going to be juggling guitars and smashing the guitar into my ceiling here, all in the name of gear chat. You see, I risk damaging my property. All right, here we go. So you'll see what I mean here if I can do this without causing havoc, wreaking havoc. Two similar guitars. This is a kit. This is a kit. This is the one that I built and painted and put together. This is the one that's store-bought. But if you look at the headstocks, you see the original, this one is more like the original Kramer headstock. You see how much bigger it is, how much longer it is compared to this guy? It's not exactly the same, but similar but not the same. Anyway, somebody was asking me how it's coming along, how this build is coming along. This thing's been finished for a long time. I don't know if I ever did a review on this guitar, but I think I should, shouldn't I? Anyways, this is the build, and the only thing that I have to say negative about this guitar kit is that I think the posts for the bridge are actually a little bit too far front. Actually, not far front. They're too far back. They should actually be slightly forward by a couple of millimeters. And because of that, it's very difficult to intonate the bridge. So I'm going to have to, this is another project I have, I'm going to have to re-drill those holes, fix them up very carefully so that they're invisible, and make sure that the holes are in the right place. And I did contact the company that makes these kits and let them know about that, because I don't want people to buy stuff and say, hey, Tony, what's going on? You know? So I try to be as transparent as I can. Other than that, these kits are amazing. I mean, the quality of the neck is really, really good. I love them. They play really nice. So you slap in some good hardware, including an original Floyd in here, and you're ready to rock. Sounds really good. So let me put that back. Somebody was asking me about this guitar recently. If they were asking me whether or not I finished it. So there it is. Right. Let me just scroll down to the messages to the back. I'm way behind on the messages here, guys. Sorry about that. So I'm going to scroll way down because I think you guys are probably having conversations about other stuff here. Quicksilver says, Fat Philosopher, I'd like to see Landon Bailey build a set neck guitar. Okay, I don't know what we're talking about there. Tonefish says, I have a Jackson Pro Soloist and it scratches the shred guitar itch for me. A lot of people love those Soloist guitars. Definitely something that I've never owned a Soloist. The only Jackson that I have is a very inexpensive one. But yeah, a lot of people love those guitars. I have been, Charles says, I have been, but need a less expensive set. I have his flat 6 Telecaster pickups and love it. Dylan does great work. So I guess we're talking about Dylan Talks Tone or something like that. Pickups. All right, let's see here. Do you have a favorite inexpensive P90 pickup? So Charles, I'm still experimenting with the P90 pickups. I haven't actually had the opportunity to try a lot of different ones. I did try a set from Sigil, and I am going to be getting another set from Peg City. And I'll let you know. P90 pickups, the ones on my Edwards. I just bought an Edwards gold top, guys. And I got to do a review on that one, which comes with Seymour Duncan P90s in it, which sound good to me anyway. But I'm trying to get a set of pickups that are actually more vintage spec'd. So I'll let you know. In a couple of days, I should be getting another set, and I will definitely be reporting what I find there. And when I find a good set, I'll definitely let you know. But there's a lot of companies that are making these P90 pickups, including Seymour Duncan and whatnot. So. All right here. Rico says, Tony, we all appreciate your honest, unbiased opinions. Unfortunately, channels like yours are harder and harder to find. That's why 51 of us are packed into your studio with you this morning. Thank you, man. Thank you. I just got to find a way to get some gear in here for reviews at a less of a cost to me, because, you know, if somebody could just lend me stuff and I could review it, it would be great. You know, sometimes I bother a couple of my friends to say, hey, you got a cool guitar there. Would you mind if I check it out for a couple of days? And, you know, sometimes they do. And I appreciate that. Other times I'll just, you know, buy stuff, rent stuff, you know, do whatever I need to do to get the stuff in to try. Not just for you guys, but also, you know, unfortunately, you know, I'm not going to lie. I also do it for me. I like to compare stuff, and I like to hear the differences that we can see between guitars and gear and pedals and whatnot, so that I can actually, you know, I'm a tweaker. I want to have what I want to have, so I don't want to waste time on stuff that just doesn't sound or play right. Magic Man's asking, where do you live? I live in Quebec, in Montreal. I think that if we have an opportunity to create you know, some kind of a swap meet, that would be great. But I guess, you know, there's a lot of logistics that would need to be done where you would be able to be able to do that in a real world. I had actually created at one point way back a group which was called the Montreal Musicians Exchange, where we would actually get together on a monthly basis and do jam sessions where anybody could actually sign up for them and join in and join the group. And you get all kinds of skill levels and different types of people that would come in. And it was just a way to meet other musicians and be able to play with other people. And it was a great time. Unfortunately, I ran out of time to do that kind of stuff. And I think eventually that group closed, or somebody else took over and tried to make money from it or something like that, and basically drove it into the ground, which was it's a shame because we had quite a few members. And who knows, maybe one day I'll do that again with a different version of that or something. But I didn't have time to continue that. But who knows? The future might hold some surprises. I've also been playing around with the ideas of providing some setup services and guitar tweaks and modifications and stuff like that, if ever I have some extra time. But it's just that time is so short. I have so many things to do that it's kind of hard to squeeze in extra time. But definitely would love to do that kind of stuff. Presley California Custom says, Tony, want to review a Presley California Custom? Sure, man. Why not? Be happy to check out one of your guitars. You've been talking about them for so long. You've got me interested now. Absolutely, why not? Landon Bailey says, I asked earlier, but any dealings with Red One Music and Dorval? They seem to be the G&L and Riverend source closest to us. Yeah, they have some pretty nice stuff there. They seem to have higher end boutique gear. I haven't been to the store. I haven't been there. They're not that far from me. I should actually pay them a visit. Maybe I will put it on my bucket list for this year. I did check them out at one point because they did have a particular amp that I was looking at, but unfortunately I think they were closed at that time due to COVID or something, so I wasn't able to get in contact with them. But yeah, I know them. Hey John, nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining us today. John's here as well. Feeling better, John. Feeling much better. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, I think the worst is over. Wasn't a fun week or 10 days, but I think the worst is over. So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? You got to think of it that way. And Landon, man, I still would love to do a group show with you at one point. I know you're very busy as well, and maybe you don't have time for that. But maybe we can swing a little Landon Bailey and Addicted to Gear show at one point to keep our viewers happy. Could be interesting to shoot the shit with you as well. I know John was on my channel a while ago, and I guess we've got to do that again too at one point, right? I think it would be nice to do that as well with John, and he's pumping out the videos. Landon's pumping out the videos. We're all trying to do our best to get out the truth about gear, not the hype. That's the goal, man. Is be a straight shooter and don't bullshit people and try not to blow smoke up anybody's ass. House of Twang says, nice job on the 5150 guitar. Thank you, buddy. It turned out quite good. I'm happy with that build. There's nothing worse than putting in so many hours on a build and then it's not, there's a surprise. I was a little disappointed with the Kramer version because of the whole situation with the location of the holes, but that's on me because I should have actually checked it out before I actually did all the paint job and everything. I just took it for granted that they know what they're doing, but unfortunately a lot of these companies that are making these kits overseas, they're just slapping these things together, so you got to do the due diligence and check these things out. I do have a 335 build that I started way back from another kit as well that is hanging in my garage gathering dust right now. That's another one that I need to actually do, and get finished. And I have another one in a box, which is a Gibson style body kit with one pickup. And I wanted to do something cool with that one as well. But that's probably going to be a job for the summertime. I don't think I'm going to be able to do all that stuff now. Landon, Bailey, and Tony should do a live stream from Red One Music. Yeah, maybe we can talk to the guys from Red One and see if they'd be willing for that. It would be a long trip for for Landon, but I'd be willing. You never know. Could work out. Maybe we can work out a deal with those guys and see if they'd be willing to give us some gear to review. Fat Philosopher says, I'd like to see Landon live streams, but they're always at like 5 a.m. my time. Yeah, unfortunately, that's what happens. You can't accommodate everybody, unfortunately. I understand. But the good thing is you can always watch the reruns, you know. It's me, Dump. Am I pronouncing the name properly? I'm not sure. He says, you and Landon sound like a great show. Yeah, it might be fun. You never know. Dan of New Jersey says Landon and Tony would be a paved to view combo. Would be great. Yeah, it'd be cool. Why not? Eventually, I think I'm trying to get a few other people on the show as well. I know there's a couple of great pickup winders that I want to try and get on the show as well. They've already agreed. It's just a question of getting the time to do it and stuff. And you know, I think just to give a little bit more variety to these sessions. It's great to talk about gear, but sometimes it's cool to have a guest on the show as well. Keep things lively and interesting. Have you ever tried the Droner Prince Red Rocks distortion pedal? No, I haven't. It's the first time I actually hear of it. What's so special about that distortion pedal? Not really sure about that one. Like I said, I'm still looking at looking at getting a compressor pedal to complete my board. I think that's the only pedal that I'm missing right now. I actually got I got the sound clips from the show that we played just before Christmas, and we don't usually have an opportunity to get the audio from the board, but we did. We also got some video on that, but unfortunately the video not too good. I mean, it came from a very old camera, but perhaps I'll post a clip from one of the songs that we played there if you guys are interested in hearing it. You know, it was a fun show, and I don't usually do that. I think I've only actually posted one clip from of the band playing, which was way back when. I think we did Bad Case of Loving You from Robert Palmer, but I'd be willing to maybe upload that and give you guys a taste of what we do when we're playing live. Mango Berry says, I always love to hear the informations others can give. I love that too. I mean, I think it's great. I love the shows when, you know, we get guests like Dave Friedman there, you know, a lot of great players also whenever they're doing the rig rundowns. Pete Thorne, you know, guys like that. And Steve Stevens. I love Steve Stevens because of his sound. He has great sound. The man really knows tone, you know. So whenever there's an opportunity to hear these guys chit-chatting in a casual environment, I love that stuff. Hey, Joe, good morning. Yeah, Telecaster show would be fun. I love Telecasters, man. You know, there's plenty of Telecasters to go around here in my house. Magic Man says the Keeley mini compressor is fantastic for how cheap it is and worth a try. And I like the fact that it's mini. It takes less room on the board as well. But I've heard that it feels a little bit cheap. The quality of the knobs and whatnot feel a little bit cheap on that one. But that is one of the ones that I'm sort of eyeing at this point. The Keeley or the Exotic compressor. Those are the top two that I'm trying to determine whether or not I could find on the used market first, and then if not, I'll maybe end up buying one. I saw one on the used market recently, but I don't know how long it's going to be around. The price was a little bit expensive, but that's what it is. There's also Demon Effects also makes a clone of the Keeley, and I don't know whether or not it would be worthwhile checking it out, because I would hate to buy a clone and be disappointed, and then just spend half of the cost that I could just put towards getting the real thing. But it's something that I've been looking at as well. Presley California Custom says, do a string change race on a Floyd. Yeah, that would be fun. Actually, that would be a great. Maybe while we're answering questions, how's that? That would be a cool show. See who could change the strings on a Floyd. Is that with or without intonation? I think intonation would have to be left out. Otherwise, it would have to be a 3-hour show. Interesting, yeah. And what does the winner get? Magic Man says the build quality is very typical. Doesn't feel cheap, but doesn't feel overly tank-like either. Okay, that's good to know. But do you find that it sounds close to the full-sized one, Magic Man? Have you compared side by side? Rich says, I hear great things about the Moore yellow optical compressor as well. And then says, I bought a Walrus Deep 6. Pricey and feature loaded for something that you set and forget. The Keeley seems to be the best option. A lot of people have been recommending the Keeley, yeah. Charles says, I pulled the trigger on the Friedman Run 29 head. Took some tweaking, I think, but I love it. Going through a 212 V30 cab. Yeah, the runt, I'm sure the runt is going to be great. Anything Friedman makes, honestly, you can't go wrong. It's they have in really specific tones, but if you like that tone, they're awesome. The Dirty Shirley is still like a killer amplifier. I just, unfortunately, don't have the opportunity to take it out and crank it live as much as I would like to. And honestly, I'm a little bit hesitant to take it out because it is expensive, But I've played the clip that I will probably post, the live clip for you guys. I was playing the Brunetti Plexi Man, and although the Brunetti is a crazy, crazy good amplifier, it really is flexible and does everything I needed to do. The only thing is that I felt the sound guy during the show, for some reason, had the volume on my guitar way down. And I noticed that at some point it was like he woke up and boosted it when I, after I had started playing my solos and stuff. It was a little frustrating. You hear the other guitarist loud and clear. Maybe he didn't like me. I know at the beginning he thought I was too loud, so maybe he was trying to teach me a lesson. But loud is good in my opinion. Randy says, get the exotic. I did. You don't see them too often on the used market. That's the only thing. But yeah, the exotics do sound good. And John says the winner gets a Vegatrem. That's cool. So we work on Floyd's. We see who can do it quickest, and then the winner gets a Vegatrem. Sounds like a good something interesting we can do there. Yeah, why not? Magic Man, I haven't compared it to a Compressor Plus, but it was much better than the compressor in my Keeley Tone workstation, which was based on the Compressor Plus, way more transparent and just sounds better. Okay. I mean, all the feedback I'm getting from you guys on the Keeley leads me to believe that, I wouldn't be making a mistake by getting the Keeley or the exotic for that matter. I think any of those two compressor pedals would be great. But honestly, you do need a compressor pedal on your board. And anybody that tells you don't, I think you do. It really makes a difference. It's a little bit of a difference, but you definitely can feel it. It just balances things out nicely, and if you use it the right way, It really adds another dimension to your sound. Quicksilver says, I have a Keeley Compressor Plus. It's great, but I also wanted a mini pedal, and the new Keeley mini compressor pedal cut a feature that you are better off getting the exotic compressor. Okay, I'm trying to follow that one. So as I understand it, the mini pedal is good, but they cut a feature that you are better off getting the exotic compressor. So are you saying that the exotic compressor being a mini-sized pedal compared to the Keeley mini-sized pedal, you're better off getting the exotic? Is that, am I understanding correctly, Quicksilver? And Paul says, Tony, the Demon comp is the old Keeley 4 knob. I had the real one. It thins out your sound. Okay, so you're talking about, now Paul, you're saying that the Keeley, the old 4-knob Keeley, thins out your sound, so I shouldn't bother with the Demon, because the Demon effects is based on the old one. Is that correct? Am I understanding you? Alan says they'll never go back to a Floyd. Well, actually, Alan, I do have the Vega Trem on my one of my Kramers. It is a very good bridge, I gotta say. Not cheap, but very good. But it's not locking, so I wouldn't necessarily compare it, ounce for ounce to a Floyd, because they are different beasts. The Floyds do need a lot more love, I agree with you, but once it's dialed in, it's nice for a while, at least a while, but it definitely needs more tweaking. Charlie says, Tony, get a JHS little black box. Put it in the effects loop on the Friedman. Works great as a second master volume. Well, the thing is, I don't really need that, because the Dirty Shirley has an amazing master volume on it. You can get great sound at very, very low tones. So I don't ever feel like I need to put any kind of attenuator on it. It's just it sounds glorious when it's loud. That's the thing, Yeah, I don't think I could go wrong either way. It's just a matter of what happens in terms of luck of the draw if I find one on the used market. John says, get an Origin Effects Cali 76 compressor. I haven't checked that one out. Have you tried that one, John? Is that you feel that one's worth it? Better, worse, in your opinion? Yeah, I agree with you, Fat Philosopher, man. I think if Vega Trem would lower their price by about $100, they would be killer. I think everybody would want to have one on their guitars. I know I would. I definitely put one in a few more of my guitars. They're a little bit expensive, but they are worth it, man. I gotta say. Dan of New Jersey says, I have the Keeley Plus, just excellent. Okay. Yeah, I think everybody that has a Vega Trem comments about the cost. But I guess it's just one of those things, They got to make money too, I guess. Quicksilver says, I meant to write they cut a few features, particularly the blend knob, which is very much a necessity, so I would recommend the exotic for it, for the form factor over the Keeley. Got it. Okay. Makes sense. Thank you for that. Am I missing out on something much better by running a Boss CS3 compressor? I mean, the Boss stuff is good. They're built like tanks. You can't really go wrong in terms of the fact that you can find the Boss pedals almost anywhere. So you're not going to be stuck if for whatever reason your compressor pedal dies on you when you're on tour. You can basically get a Boss version of these pedals everywhere. I think and I could be wrong on this, but I think the consensus with the Boss stuff is that it's a little bit more homogeneous in terms of sound. Like it doesn't do anything really well, it doesn't do anything really badly. It's kind of like, it's a workhorse, but I think some of the other models that we're talking about here just maybe do something a little bit more. Of course, you pay more for that. You know, like everything when it comes to audio gear, you know, a 10% increase doesn't necessarily reflect a 10% increase in price. Sometimes it's a huge increase in price. But it's really up to you to make up your mind. If you're going to have an opportunity to try them side by side, then just do that. And you might find that some very, like, you know, inexpensive China brand compressor pedal is good enough for what you need, and you don't need to spend, you know, 200 or 250 bucks on a compressor pedal. Have I tried the Tone Master? Andrew, I have not tried the Tone Master. I've been interested in trying it, but honestly, the reason I haven't tried it, I'll be blunt, I've watched a lot of videos where they're comparing the Tone Master to a Deluxe. And honestly, I can honestly say the Deluxe sounds better. So I didn't necessarily want to waste time checking out the Tone Master. I know there was a lot of hype when they first came out, but that is sort of the YouTube influencer effect where everybody gets one and all of a sudden it's, you know, Tone Master this, Tone Master that. But after that initial buzz, I don't see anybody raving about it that much. So, and I'm not much into transistor amps, to be honest. I did do a review of the Deluxe, and I did a side-by-side comparison of the Deluxe and my Supersonic, because at one point I was considering selling my Supersonic to get a Deluxe. But after comparing them side by side, and I gotta say the video that I did doesn't really do it justice, because to be fair, I tried to keep the tone knobs dialed in the same way, more or less, which I have to say was not ideal on the Supersonic. So in the video, the Deluxe reverb actually sounds better, but when I have the Supersonic dialed in the way it should be, it sounds really good. And the Supersonic is a lot more flexible in terms of a gigging amp because of the fact that it does have an effects loop. It does have a better foot switch. It does allow you to switch between different channels. It does have the burn channel as well. So I ended up keeping the Supersonic. I also returned the Supersonic to stock by putting in the stock speaker that was originally in it, because I had taken the speaker out and put in a V-type speaker, and it sounded even better. So with all that said, I think that the Tone Master would be like below a Deluxe, and the Deluxe for me is a little bit below the Supersonic. And I'm talking about the current Deluxes. I'm not talking about the vintage stuff now or the hand-wired stuff. I'm just talking about the current production stuff. So I've just kept the Supersonic. And that's my long-winded answer to why I haven't checked out the Tone Master stuff. Plus, I think there's a lot of people already doing the Tone Master stuff out there. Charles says, Tony, I had both, prefer the exotic. Why do you prefer the exotic, Charles? Yeah, lots of Keeley talk. Magic Man, you're right. We're getting away from the Silver Sky talk. Alan says, I have 4 guitars with Floyd's plus Ibanez versions and use long life strings. Yeah, that's the key to any kind of Floyd, is you don't want to have to change your strings very often. You want to keep them there as long as you can. So John says, yeah, pricey, but is great. Okay, so that's another contender I should check out. Paul says the orange comp is oud, very pricey. Does that mean good? And Magic Man says the blend control is still in effect, though. You just don't have the control over it. Okay. Man, my dog's really snoring. Leo says the next 2 days is supposed to get really cold. We're used to that here. It's always cold. James says, Tony, I have a brand new black Vega Tram. I'm not going to use, I will make you a deal. James, I have a black Vega trem here too that I'm putting into my Kramer guitar. So I don't need another black Vega trem because honestly, I don't have any guitars that have black hardware. So for me, to put in the black Vega trem and make it match the guitar, I'm actually going to be changing out the tuners to black tuners on that guitar. But if it was a regular Vega trem, I'd jump for the deal. Why not? Dan of New Jersey says biggest buzz this week is the EVH Icon. Not my type of amp, but major debate about it both ways. Yeah, I think the other thing about EVH gear now is that now that Eddie's passed, like what's going to happen with that brand? Is it going to go away? Is it going to be? Is it going to die out, or are they just going to keep releasing new models under the EVH brand? Interesting to see what's going to happen with that. But yeah, the EVH Icon is another interesting addition to the gear lineup. Jeff says, I've upgraded the bridge on my Harley Benton Jr. It's a Music Lily $13 or 13 pound bridge from Amazon, far superior to the stock one. I've done the same. That was one of the things that perhaps I never actually showed you guys. Here, let me, did I show you? I'm not sure. I don't remember, guys. Give me a second, right? All right, guys, I know we're going a little bit long today, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm trying to make up for the lost show last week, so maybe we'll go for a 2-hour thing today. Who knows? All right, this is my Harley Benton guitar. It's a junior style guitar, as you can see. This is the one I was talking about where I'm not a big fan of these little plasticky Sears Roebuck type tuners, which I think I'm going to exchange an update and put in a nice set of chrome tuners there. I know it kind of ruins the junior look, but I'm not a big fan of these plastic tuners. I like everything else about this guitar, however. Nice guitar. These are the P90s that came with the guitar. They're stock. I haven't changed those out yet, but perhaps I'll try something else. But one of the big drawbacks to this guitar was the bridge. The bridge on the original bridge on this guitar was very bulky and didn't really feel comfortable at all. So I ended up switching it out, and I got a Wilkinson wraparound bridge that has the intonation already preset. I was a little worried about maybe it not being set properly, but it's dead on, and it works great, and it's so much more comfortable. And I bought this off Amazon as well. I probably paid this $20, $25 or something like that. A really highly recommended upgrade if you have this particular guitar, I gotta say. All right, don't take my word for it. Take somebody else has tried it. You'll see it really makes the guitar play so much nicer. Now this guitar is probably not tuned. I love the sound of P90s. They really sound crunchy and nice. So the guitar overall doesn't require a lot of upgrades. I mean, like I said, this is a preference thing. the tuners. The bridge and neck pickup are okay. You could swap them if you wish, but you know, it's not a necessity. They don't have any push-pull situations here because these are essentially single coils. I do like the four knob layout so that you can play around with the sound levels. The only thing I'm not super crazy about is the color. I was thinking about maybe painting this and changing it into a metallic, like a vintage metallic red. But I'll see. I don't know. That's another project that I may or may not do. So that answers, I hope that answers your question, but I think, Jeff, we probably did the same upgrade to the guitar. House of Twang says, I have the Supersonic 22 with a greenback in it. Great little amp. It sure is. And it kicks once you have it in the sweet spot. BC Rich says, still a need to install my Vigatrem. It's number 3 or 4 on my list of winter guitar projects. Same here, brother. Vox Guitars Rock says, I've never owned a guitar with a Floyd, but I don't use trems much anyways. So if you haven't, then don't. They really require a lot more attention, a lot more tweaking. Landon Bailey says, Quicksilver, I did. I had it for a few months. It's good. Just next to my Princeton, I didn't enjoy it as much, so I sold it and got another Princeton to run in stereo. So I was wondering why you got 2 Princetons, Landon. Because I figured, hey, you know, 1 Princeton's enough. Why 2? I thought perhaps they sounded different. Maybe they had different speakers in them or whatnot. But the Tweed one is nice. Is the Tweed one the one with the Cannabis Rex 12-inch speaker in it? Or does it have the Jensen? Just out of curiosity. I was thinking about picking one up myself, but I'm starting to accumulate too many amps. I'm starting to reevaluate whether or not investing in amplifiers is a good thing. Perhaps maybe it's time for me to scratch the itch with multi-effects units instead, because they're a lot less expensive and take a lot less room. But I haven't made a decision on that yet. Cool Tune says, maybe I'll go for the Supersonic, good for cleans and overdrive. The cleans, definitely. The overdrive, it's really a question of whether you would like the stock drive channel. When you crank it, it definitely sounds good. At lower volumes, it feels a little bit stifled, in my opinion. But the good thing is you can also boost your the amplifier with a good overdrive pedal, and you can get some nice distorted sounds out of it. What temperature is it there currently? Gonna dip into the teens Fahrenheit here in New Jersey in the next 2 days. Well, I haven't stepped outside, but I can tell you what the temperature is right now. Currently, it's only -3, and that's in Celsius, not Fahrenheit. The long-term, what's the long-term forecast? So today, the low will be -12. Monday, it's going down to -22. Tuesday, -26. Wednesday, -22. And Thursday, it's going to be a balmy -12. So that's what we're looking forward to in the next little while here, just to give you an idea. Randy says a Supersonic is superior. Oh yeah, get the exotic. So it's really a toss-up, you guys. I don't know. You're confusing me, guys. You're confusing me. Tony, the exotic seemed more of a set and forget to me, was always tweaking the Keeley. See what I mean? It's like, man, I don't know what to do. Quicksilver says, Landon Bailey, I wouldn't mind a Princeton Tone Master. You know what I would like? I would like them to come out with a Tone Master or a regular tube amp version of the Princeton with the mid control knob and with an effects loop. You know, kind of halfway towards what the what the Mesa Boogie Mark III was, which I owned at one point. Because the Mesa Boogie Mark III was kind of a hot-rodded version of the Princeton anyway. And it had the EQ sliders on it as well. The only thing about the Mesa Boogie Mark III was that it was way too heavy. Thing weighed a ton. And way too loud. It was 100 watts. It would blow out your ears and your windows. And it didn't have as much of an easy tone stack. There was a lot of push-pull knobs that you had to kind of get familiar with to try. It was trying to do way too much for a very simple amplifier. So for that reason, I ended up getting rid of it. And I've listened back to a lot of recordings of this, the Mark III. And yeah, it always sounded too harsh for me. Where I was looking for something that sounded a little bit more smooth. Take it easy, John. Thank you for dropping in, my friend. Looking forward to seeing some more of your videos. Keep up the great work. Mango Berry says, I trust Eddie's son and estate will keep the brand alive or probably be sold to Gibson or Fender one day. I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep that brand alive. I mean, we all know that Eddie's not really directly involved in that anymore. Or maybe, I don't know how much he was involved with that in the first place, beyond receiving the paychecks. But I don't know, I think... I mean, the EVH brand definitely holds some value, but I don't know for how long. Rico says, yeah, the Tone King removed his EVH icon. Tabletop review had lots of backlash, he said. There you go. Dan says, wind is picking up along with the cold compliments of what Canadian winter in New Hampshire -4 Fahrenheit tonight. Yeah, just warm up next to the wife. Stay nice and cozy in bed and you'll be fine. Randy says, I would take a pink Vigatrem for free. And Tone's Vox Guitars Rock says, Tony the Exotic. All right, whatever. So doesn't Fender already produce all the EVH gear in a licensing deal like Gretsch? Yeah, they do. As far as I know, Fender owns EVH, and I don't think they're going to give it up. It is a long stream. Why not? Let's keep it going. Quicksilver says, Vega, the guy from the Street Fighter? Yeah, that's the one. BC Rich says, Quicksilver, yes, he partnered with Floyd Rose after he was let go from Sega after they closed their home game shop. See, we give you all of the insight that you want here. Inquiring minds want to know, and we got the answers. Andrew says, what is your most recent acquisition and what is your next? So the most recent acquisition is in terms of guitars, because we can be talking guitars, amps, pedals, and whatnot. The most recent acquisition for a guitar is a Edwards Gold Top, a beautiful Edwards Gold Top that I managed to get on the used market for a steal. And to be honest, I haven't spent enough time with it yet because I've been recuperating. But it's right here. Actually, it's in my case, right there, in the case beside the 4x12, that guy there. It's a beautiful guitar, man. I'm so happy that I found that guitar. Definitely, I would say very, very close to the quality you're getting from Japanese Tokais. And it is a Japanese model. And I'll be doing a review on that one. So I'm super happy. So that's the latest guitar acquisition. As I mentioned, the latest pedal acquisition is this kind of cheapy pedal from Tone City. Rock Magma, which is an OCD clone. I was just playing around with that. And in terms of pickups and whatnot, I have a few pickups coming in from a company called No Wax. And these are pickups that were built for me, and I'm going to be putting them into my PRS. So that's sort of what I've been acquiring lately. And I also got the NUX MG30 as well as the Ampero 2 Stomp, which are multi-effects units. So I'll probably be trickling out videos of those units as well. Not necessarily a review, because I think there's a lot of reviews on those guitars, on those multi-effects. We'll see what happens. But I just wanted to maybe put out some patches and show you how I get the sounds for how I build my patches, and perhaps be able to give you the patches as well if you have one of those and you want to download it. I'll probably provide that for free. So Rico says, Quicksilver, watch TTK, the Tone King's last live stream. He talks about it. Essentially, he says a contract at Fender said Eddie approved the icon before he passed, so he pulled the video. Interesting. Spray some nice rose red metallic over that white and let it naturally relic. It will look really cool. That is the idea. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do. I already have the paint. I purchased the paint last fall, and that was the idea. And it would be an easy thing to do. We just have to like strip this body naked and paint it up. And yeah, I think it would look killer, honestly. So it's still in something that I want to do, but it probably will only be in the spring. Tonefish says, can you get high quality mini pots? Not sure I can get full size pots through these F-holes. You probably can get them through. It's going to be tricky. I've done that before. They do fit. You just have to kind of put them in sideways, gently put them in. You can probably get some decent size mini pots as well. But I feel that the full size pots tend to last longer. Quicksilver says, have you ever observed that the Tone King is a misnomer? His tone sucks. Be nice, Quicksilver. Come on. Everyone's trying their best. Wayne McConnell says, what makes a Vega-Trem work so good if it doesn't pivot on a knife edge? And why do they have 2 holes and 4 holes? Good question. Actually, they do pivot on a knife edge. That's the reason why they work so well. The reason why they have the 2-hole and 4-hole mounting brackets is because they're generally made for bridges that have 6 regular mounting holes. You only need 2 or 4, depending on your guitar configuration. So the little bracket goes over those holes, and there's a little slot in that bracket, and the rest of the bridge fits into that slot, and it has a knife edge pivot point. So basically it is a knife edge. That's why they do work so well, and they're really manufactured at you can tell they're manufactured at a very high quality. They're really made extremely well. My only complaint about the Vega-Trem stuff is that the little Allen screws that stick out are scratchy. They really need to like buff those out or something. I usually do it myself with some very light sandpaper, and it makes a huge difference, because otherwise it really digs into your palm. If you're a bridge player like I am, I tend to put my hand on the bridge, and it does become scratchy. But other than that, it's a great little unit apart from the cost. House of Twang says, Presley California Customs, the relics with a different color underneath is neat. Yeah, I agree. I love that. I love that. I would have to like scratch up the body because it's a matte finish, so I don't know how well the paint would stick to this. So I would probably have to go over it with a light sanding and then paint it with the red. But yeah, that's something I want to do. Landon says, yeah, the tweed is a 12-inch Cannabis and the blue is a 12-inch Celestian. So which one do you prefer, Landon? Because that was one of the reasons why I did not buy the tweed. I had an opportunity to get one, and I wasn't convinced that the Cannabis would work for me. I've tried the Cannabis speaker in another amp, and I felt it was a little bit too muffled. So I was hesitant because I thought that the Cannabis Rex speaker wouldn't be a good match for the Princeton, because the Princeton is a pretty lively amplifier and it sounds really, really nice. So give me your opinion. Which one do you feel sounds better to you? And have you ever tried the actual one with a Jensen speaker in it? Dan says, my Princeton came with a Jensen Alnico Blue and sounds beautiful. I think that's the original, Princeton sound. Let's see here. Dylan from Dylan Talks Tone said that the mini pots can be just as high quality as the full size if it's a good brand. I agree. I think they can be. I don't see why not. I'm not saying that. Just in my experience, I think that the full-sized ones that I've tried tend to last longer. Magic Man says amps are going to hold their value better than the multi-effects units. Yeah, perhaps, but you're going to have less options. Less. So for a lot less money, you're going to be able to play with a lot more sounds. With a multi-effects unit, you're able to put in your IRs now. You're able to try a bunch of amps, a bunch of effects, a bunch of pedals, a bunch of reverbs, and so it can definitely give you a lot more flexibility if you're doing something at home than one amp can. It's getting to the point where it's something to consider. Quicksilver says, Landon, I thought one of those amps came with a Celestia Neo Creamback. I've always been intrigued by those Creamback speakers because they're supposed to be a lot lighter. They're supposed to still sound somewhat like a Creamback, although I don't feel that they do sound exactly like a Creamback. But the fact that they're lighter definitely makes it more appealing to anyone that wants to bring an amp with them on a gig. Charlie says, Tony, buy both and send the other back. I'm constantly doing. Got to love Amazon for free returns. Maybe I should do that. Good point. Good point. Dan of New Jersey, the thing I really like about the Keeley compressor is that it has a sustain settings, which is magic, though it can add noise too if too high. Yeah, but I'm more like the set and forget it kind of guy. Once I have the setting dialed in for something like a compressor, I generally don't mess around with it too much. Jeff says, I got new tuners for the Harley Benton Jr. Tony, nice Godos, but couldn't use them as a lefty. Figured I could switch the left and R side, but the treble side tuners have smaller holes and my low E won't thread through. Okay. I wonder why the treble side tuners have smaller holes though. But you can always take a what do you call those tools? It's basically a long it's a long kind of file that's tapered. And you can just put it in the hole and make the holes bigger. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do that with these because these are like vintage style, vintage size tuners. Once I take these out, I'm going to have to definitely make the holes bigger. That's why I was kind of waiting to do that when I actually paint the guitar so that I can plug up the holes, paint the entire thing so you don't see any of the holes and stuff. And it will make a very nice, clean job, But again, this is going to be something that I'll do much later. Take it easy, Landon. Talk to you later, buddy. Presley, California Custom says, Silver Sky, have you seen the Fender 60s Road Worn 7.25 radius, thick, chunky C-neck, killer vintage voice Fender pickups, new 1,200. I got one used for 800. Poor man, Silver Sky. I love those Road Worn Strats, man. If I can grab another one, if I find one somewhere, I'll definitely probably grab another one because one of my favorites. And Vox wants to know sunburst or solid color Telecaster. For Telecasters, I tend to go for the solid colors. I don't know why. I mean, I do have a sunburst Telecaster as well, but I tend to like the solid colored ones more for some reason. Cool Tunes Made Easy says, you still have 30 minutes till 1 hour. Do I? Let's see. No, I don't. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes that I've been yapping over here. So I guess we're going to have to start wrapping it up here. Magic Man says, hate to say it, but the Tone King is a poser. Come on, man. He's been doing it for a long time. Give the guy credit. He may not be the most, the best player in the world, but neither am I. He's trying his best. I give him credit for that. And he's been doing it for a long time, so the man deserves kudos. Dan says, why do you think the big three, Marshall, Fender, and Vox, seem to be unwilling to change any of their EQ settings on their flagship models? If you want more features, you need to buy solid state. I don't know why they're not. They're just kind of rehashing the same thing over and over again. And this is one of the reasons why, and I don't want to go back to the Silver Sky conversation, but this is one of the reasons why it left the door open for PRS to come out with the Silver Sky, because Fender was rehashing the same stuff over and over again. And, there's only so many times you could change the name of a model and change, the colors that they're being offered in and whatnot, and, up the price on people over and over again. I think people are getting a little bit too smart for that now, and they're starting to realize this is the trend. They've been doing it for so many years. And people do like the vintage stuff, so the Fender knows that they don't necessarily want to change the formula, because once they do that, what do they have? If they stray too far away, then they're just going to be like everyone else. So they're sticking tried and true to the formula that works for them. And I think that's the same reasons why Marshall's doing the same thing, and other brands as well. Wayne says $350 and you have to smooth over screws? Come on. I agree. At $350, the thing should be darn perfect. I did mention this to the Vigatrem guys. And hopefully they'll make that change. But yeah, unfortunately, that's what you got to do. Presley says, spray first with sanding sealer and bam, nitro time. I've had bad experiences with sanding sealer, Presley. Namely on my EVH guitar that I made. The sanding sealer reacted to the paint a couple of times. I had to strip it down completely. So I'm a little bit hesitant to spray any kind of sanding sealer over it, because it just reacted, and I would hate to have to sand everything down again. I think I'm just going to go straight into it and forget the sanding sealer. Magic Man says, I'm not trying to stir up anything. He's just an IT guy who likes to collect gear, which is cool, but I'm more into musicians and real gear nuts. Okay. I respect your opinion on that. He's no EVH, but I think he's a pretty good player, says Leo. Lots of Tone King bashing. Yeah, I agree. What's going on? Yeah, Reamer, that's what it's called. Sorry, guys, I just slipped my mind. Hello from Boston. Nice to see you, Surfer by. Couple of new visitors here. I'm glad people are jumping out of the shadows and saying hello. Paul says the Neo Creamback sounds like a vintage UK made greenback according to Pete Thorne. I used one and love it. Now, I haven't tried one myself, but I've definitely listened to some videos. There was a little bit of a nuance between the original one and the Neo, but then again, one of them could have been broken in, the other one could have been new. I like it. I think it would be great to if I can get my hands on one of those to lighten up some of my my amplifiers that I tend to use for rehearsals as well. Okay, Jeff. So I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. Jeff says I meant the holes in the tuners where you thread the strings through, not the holes in the headstock. I got it. I got it. I got it. I see what you mean. So they're too low, probably. They're too low, and they don't they interfere. I got it. Okay, okay. Not much you can do with that unless you can get a set of similar tuners that have a longer post. Yeah, that's one of the things you have to watch out for is the location of the holes on the posts as well. We appreciate the yapping, says Magic Man. I appreciate you, buddy. Go for 4 hours. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going for 4 hours. I can talk about this stuff all day long, but I'm sure you guys have other things to do. Mark says, if you don't like the Tone King, don't watch him. People who talk trash on other people's or punks, don't watch it. I tend to agree. I mean, you don't. We're not here to bash anybody, guys. Let's all get along. House of Twang says, had a chance to play a Tier 1 Nags, I can't even pronounce it, I guess, with Duncans in it. If you get a chance, try one. They're amazing. Thank you and take care. Yeah, the Nag stuff is really killer. Nags is making some really amazing guitars, and a lot of my my icons have those Nags guitars, and I'm sure there's a reason why they're playing. Steve Stevens for one, loves his Nags. He's been playing it almost exclusively for a long time. I don't want to try them because I think I'm going to like them, and they're not cheap. They're definitely, I guess, giving PRS a run for the money because they're beautiful guitars as well. Although I do really like the two Carvin X100s that he has, and he does have some neat behind the scenes videos at Chuck Levin's in the MD that he posted a couple of years ago. The Tone King is tight with them. All right. Dan says the creambacks definitely have more headroom than a greenback. Smooths out the sound great when paired with with vintage 30s. Cuts back on the shrill sound. Now I have a creamback in one of my cabinets, the 1x12. I like the creamback. I don't think the creamback and the greenback sound the same. Definitely a different sound. But I did get my hands on a creamback, and it does sound great. Tony, in my sealed back tuned Trainer 1x12 cab, I get a very similar sound to my old Marshall 4x12. Cool. I mean, once you get the right speakers in a cabinet, it makes a world of difference. I've been trying to decide whether or not I want to actually upgrade the speaker or change the speaker in my JJN Black Star, but I've tried it through other cabinets that I have here, and there's not enough of a difference. So I think I'm just going to keep the stock speaker in there. Rico, I don't know if the Nags owner came from the PRS camp. It could be because I would say they're very similar in terms of like the body shape and the way the types of woods that they're using and the quality and all that. So perhaps you're right. I don't know. I don't know enough about Nags. House of Twang seems to think that he was building the private stock stuff. So there you go. That's how these companies come about. They just like split off. The same for John Sir. He was working at Fender, and the Black Star guys. They were working at Marshall, and that's what ends up happening. They just figure they can do a better job and end up splitting off and doing their things, you know. Which is good for us. That's what we want. We want better quality stuff. We don't want run of the mill. When's the last time any of you stepped into a music store? Just asking. I went in before Christmas, a couple months before Christmas, and walked out of there with again empty-handed and not tempted by much. Unfortunately, the only thing that I kind of was interested in was one of the Charvels that they had there, but it wasn't the right color and it didn't have the right pickup configuration for me. So I just left it. I haven't purchased something in a guitar store for a long time. I did, however, get raped when I ended up buying a bunch of... I needed some pots and stuff and a switch and different things to finish a guitar build. I got raped, man. I think I ended up paying almost $80 for the stuff that I bought. And I'm like, this is why I don't go to music stores that often. Yep, Black Star came from Marshall, precisely. Quicksilver says, I'm surprised that other Caesar guy that was canned from Fender hasn't started his own shop. Yeah, I know. I remember that. Yeah. Maybe he, whatever, he got another offer, is working somewhere else. It's a lot of hassle to build your own business. The rewards can be amazing, but the headaches that go with it are a real challenge, especially today. And I wouldn't say that the music industry is thriving, even though that Fender has said that their sales during COVID have skyrocketed. But Fender's Fender. Not everybody's living the same reality. Yeah, only strings. That's and even that. I think the last time I purchased strings, I purchased multi-packs through Amazon. And, I got them at the same price or even less than I would get them in the store. And I wouldn't have to spend gas and trudge my way through the snow to get them. So even at that, strings, honestly, there's not that many deals locally in regular stores here anymore. So I don't feel enticed by any of the new stuff that's coming out now. So there's no real reason for me to go very often. I have them in an Epiphone. I like the tone. I kept them. Hope that helps. What were we talking about there? Hobo Bob, nice to see you, buddy. Here for the final stretch. You're in luck because I ended up going over an hour today. We're actually almost on an hour and a half. So we're gonna cut it at exactly an hour and a half. So we're 2 hours and 22 minutes in. So I'm giving it another 7 minutes, and then we're gonna say bye. So if you guys have questions, shoot. Give me your questions. I don't have anything else that's that interesting to show you in terms of gear that I've purchased. Like I said, there's a few things that I'm going to be reviewing, but I would prefer to answer your questions and stuff that I haven't already answered. But if I haven't already answered your questions, definitely want to answer some of those. Only 2 hours. Yeah, no, we're not going to go another 2 hours. That's for sure. Got to save something for the next time, right? But as I said, if you missed it at the beginning of the show and you're tuning in late, we're getting close to the 100th show. We're going to have a giveaway at the 100th show. I'm going to give away this NUX MG30. It's a nice little unit for anyone who wants to have something that sounds pretty good and is easy to use. I've used this myself, and I really like the tones in here. I'm not going to underestimate the tones. They're actually very good. And if you guys want to help me decide how I should be running this giveaway, I want you to, do something for it. I want you to not just, say sign me up. Well, I want to think of a cool way of doing the giveaway. So I'm going to try and come up with something before the 100th show, and then we'll run the contest and see how it goes. I get better deals online. It's that simple. Smaller stores and even guitar centers don't offer deals. It's true. I totally agree with you, man. I walk out of those, I actually go in there hoping I'm going to find something that's going to entice me. I'm almost like, going in there like with the adage like, here's my money, take my money, give me something good. And I walk out disappointed every time. Magic Man says, when it comes to compression, how do you typically use a compressor pedal? To me, it's just, I use a compressor pedal mainly just to add a little bit, just to level off the sound and just add a little bit more sustain. I don't overdo it. Unless I'm playing a clean sound. Like if I'm playing something that has like a definite, let's say, disco influence, where I'm doing a lot of, the chugga chugga type of chords where I'm comping, then the compressor pedal really comes into play, because you're not going through distortion and all kinds of other things. It's pretty clean. And that's when you can really see it shine. But I don't overdo the compression. I don't like squish it till it's like, I just a little light compression at the end of the chain is all I really need it for. Quicksilver says, the serial numbers on the PRS core models, are those actually handwritten or done by machine? I think they're handwritten. Looks to me like they're done with a gold marker. I have my serial number written out, and there's a number 10 because mine is a 10 top. It seems like they're all different, and all the ones I've seen, it could be by the same person, but it's definitely not done by machine. Can you show us any socks or underwear you got for Christmas? I could, but it'll be like an R-rated show. Here, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I didn't get any socks this year, actually, which is not a bad thing. And the underwear, that's reserved for my wife. Sorry, guys. Only one music store in town, and last 2 times I was there, they were out of Slinky 9s. I'm starting to panic. Yeah, and it's like, it always seems like when you walk into a store, you need one thing, and they don't have that one thing. Like what we really need is for music stores to start carrying parts. There's only one store here in my area that has all the parts that you typically need, at least for Fender. And that's Diplomat. It's called Diplomat Music, and they're a great distributor of Fender. They have a great selection of custom shop guitars and whatnot. But every time I need like a part, like I need a string ferrule or something, they have it. So it's just one of those things, man. I just like, from time to time, you just need a part, one little thing. And if you order online, you're going to be paying a $2 part $10, because they're already gouging you on that. Plus they're going to add another $15 for shipping. It doesn't make any sense. It's like the Stu Mac scenario, Anyways, hey Rico, thank you for the super chat, buddy. That's very appreciated. Thank you very much. Not necessary, but definitely appreciated. Rico says, Happy New Year. Here's to another year of your great content. Thank you for what you do. Thanks, man. Thank you for being there, Rico, because if you guys weren't there, I would have nothing to do. So I really appreciate it and look forward to these Sunday shows, man. I do. I borrowed an Ebo for a cover of Heroes at a gig last night. I'm definitely getting one. Have you ever used one? No, I haven't. I don't know what I would do with it. Besides, Heroes, and maybe a couple of U2 songs, or maybe like, I know that the Edge uses the Ebo on one. I don't know. I guess it would be cool to try out, but I never really thought about owning one. Ellie says, just bought the Alpha FX pedal from Donner. I haven't been blown away by its sound. It's my first reverb delay pedal, so I have nothing to compare it to. Any better reverb delay pedals you can recommend? Ellie, I can recommend not buying a combo. Honestly, I haven't really come across any combo pedal that I can say is really knocks my socks off, let's say, on both sides. I would say if you want reverb, buy reverb. If you want delay, buy delay. These all-in-ones have always disappointed me. So that's my kind of advice to you. If I had a better option for you, I would definitely tell you. But again, I've tried a couple and I've always been disappointed, and I stopped buying combos. If somebody else here has something that they can recommend for LE, let me know. But that's my opinion. If someone, Quicksilver says, if that person croaks, I guess someone else will have to jump in and their penmanship will be different. Probably, probably. Tony, could you do a Paisley Telecaster build? That would be awesome, seeing how to do the wallpaper thing. I haven't ever tried to do the wallpaper thing. I think it's cool, but a big challenge. If I had a paint booth and I wouldn't be having to do this with spray cans, I would definitely try it, because the paint, at least the clear coat, has to go on pretty thick. And to be able to cover something like a fabric with cans, spray cans, would take forever. So unfortunately, I don't have access to a paint booth or anything like that. So I don't think I'll be doing that anytime soon. Cooltoon says the contest is 10 Top Gear Tony will keep for his schedule for his secluded island. Mix of gear pedals and guitars, only 10 items. That could be a cool thing. That could be a cool thing. Let me think about that one. Hobo Bob says Diplomat Music is also near where I live. Not too bad walking distance nowadays. Yeah, they have cool stuff if you're into Fenders. And they've been around forever, actually. That's actually the place I bought my first guitar. And I actually posted a photo of myself on Instagram. If you guys are not already following me on Instagram, you should, because I post a lot of behind the scenes stuff there. I posted a photo of myself, which was probably taken, I don't know, I was 18 at the time. I did the math. It's written on the photo. And I'm actually holding the Ibanez. That was the Ibanez Roadstar 2 Stealth Strat model that I purchased. My mom actually bought that for me, bless her heart. And that was my very first electric guitar, and I posted that photo on Instagram just a couple of days ago. So if you go into the Instagram, you'll see what a goofy guy I look like with my mullet, and I'm holding that guitar. Charles says, thinking about putting the P90s in the neck and bridge position and the Strat pickup in the middle position. Interesting combo, as opposed to 3 single coils. P90s and a single coil Strat pickup could be interesting. Just make sure that the poles are all pointing in the right direction, or you might just get something funny happening there in terms of out of phase. Yeah, beyond the Eventide or the Strymon stuff, that's really what you got to go for if you want something with reverb and delay that's going to sound really, really good. But that's a very expensive brand, so you got to be aware you're not going to be able to get that at a Donner price point. Perhaps the new X Atlantic, possibly. Yeah, that's a good suggestion, Jeff. You're right. I didn't think of that one. Do you think the Harley Benton Fusion Series guitars beats any Ibanez in the $450 price range? That's a good question. Ibanez will definitely have a different feel. The RG series, for example, comes to mind. Definitely the neck on the RG series do feel quite a bit different than the Fusions. The Fusions are great overall guitars with great specs. You can't go wrong for them for the price. The pickups, maybe, again, depending on your flavor, you might want to change the pickups on those guitars, but it's not necessarily a must. I think that the Fusions will give the $450 Ibanez guitars are run for their money, honestly. I think the fusions will, are going to be at par at some of the more expensive Ibanez at even over $1,000 or $2,000, to be honest with you. Okay, guys, I'm over my 2.5 hour time slot, allotted time slot by 4 minutes, actually 5 minutes now. So 2.5 hours this week. I had a great time talking with all of you guys. I really do appreciate you guys all tuning in. I appreciate all the guys giving me the thumbs up. I appreciate everybody that's given me, a super chat. I appreciate that a lot. And I look forward to doing this again. All your suggestions in terms of gear, pedals, speaker combinations, your opinions on the Silver Sky and everything else was very appreciated. And I love your feedback. Please keep on providing the feedback, and we will hopefully bring a lot of value to all of the newcomers that are joining us on Sunday. And if you haven't joined us before, and if this is the first time that you're joining us on Addicted to Gear Live, please take note that we're live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys are in the right time zone and you can join us, I highly would recommend you join us, and I'm sure the rest of the guys over here would really appreciate to have some new faces and new comments. And we're looking forward to having another great show next Sunday. So don't miss out. Remember, show number 100 is around the corner, and we're going to figure out some cool ways of getting some prizes out to you guys. All right. So hang in there, guys. Have a great Sunday. Have a great rest of the day. Great rest of the week. Stay safe. Try not to get that nasty bug, what we're talking about. And come back next Sunday for another great show. And also, just keep your eye on the channel. I'll put up a little clip from the live show that we played just recently for, just for giggles and to give you something interesting to look at. All right? Hang in there, guys. See you soon. Have a great week. Love you. Peace out.